we can let this go, but if the cruiser's total, the cruiser's total. Hopefully the officer's okay. The cruiser costs money. Okay, so.
Well, I guess it's in the hands of, it would be in the hands of the law department now.
Right. My thing is we need a report on it. After we get the information in, you should get a report in terms of the total situation, so we can deal with it, so we'll know. Okay? Because we got nice cruisers, we got, I know, 3, 4 new cruiser cars. I don't know if we wanted the new ones or not.
Well, you can request that Ms. Hemmings send the report down to the chair to the committee.
Get a couple.
Safety committee on what took place if the officers hurt.
Thanks.
Because he may not be hurt now, but he can be hurt later. I go.
Okay.
I'm staying in my lane.
In terms of report, I think the thing that I would like to know as a council person is, number one, I hope that he's okay.
Yeah.
Number two is if there was an accident, who's at fault? Okay, then after you establish who's at fault, who's going to be compensated? We're assuming that this person may have insurance, the person may not have insurance.
So that, I think Barbara was right then, that we stay in contact with the law department if they keep us abreast of the procedures as we move forward.
And since you change health and safety, that comes under your,
Really?
your program. Because I'm going to bring it up, I'm going to bring it back up, because I didn't even know that took place.
Oh, we have no doubt that you.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring it up.
So should I send a letter to the law department, or that way the mayor can request it?
There are full outline, brief and report on the automobiles.
Pictures.
I can tell you one thing from experience, the police are not always right. So, that's my thing, is we assuming that we can't assume that the police were wrong, and we can't assume that the person that ran into them was wrong either. We just need to get the facts of the situation. That's the most intelligent thing to do. Because when they flying up and down the street like I hear them all the time, anything can happen. Sometimes people in those cars listen to their music or whatever, and they don't even hear it if they don't see the flashing lights. If he's flying in the street and the guy don't see him and he hit the guy, I mean, most of the time, who stabbed his car is the police, right? Right. So it's not an open and shut kind of situation.
Okay, well, if you can keep us updated with reports, and then I'll submit it to the rest of the committee. Any other questions? Okay.
What's our staffing at this point?
I wouldn't answer that.
You wouldn't? Do you know?
No, I don't.
That's a one-on-one thing.
You don't want the public to know.
Anything else? Nothing from UK?
No, thank you.
All right. All minds clear. Thank you, Mayor. Chief?
Yes.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for coming out this evening. Can you give us an update what's going on, first of all, on the equipment?
Equipment. Okay. All right, well, as you well know, we don't, Nick Myers or Marshall Ford stepped in for some of our disrepair or some of our apparatus that were out of service. And they took it upon themselves to take our command car, one of our ambulances, Squad 142, and also they took the police chief's car, and they was involved in some fender to repair that as well. The estimate on the command car was around $4,600 in parts.
Is that like the SUV?
It's an SUV. It's an Excursion, Ford Excursion. I believe it's a 2002 Ford Excursion. It had a diesel leak, and it had suspension issues that they actually want really, they were looking to even try to replace it because it said it was that severe. So, but they took it upon themselves to get the parts for it and restore it. And right now they're currently working on, squad or ambulance 142, get it running again.
142, the one that we had, that's what was gifted to us.
Well, that's the shaker donation.
Okay.
All right. Ironically enough, the Euclid donation, the rear end on it, for lack of a better term, blew up on its face. So we're right now currently down just for a day, hopefully a day, with the squad down. But engine 111 was on the news, of course, with water in the fuel system. There's a hole in the diesel tank, and water got into the fuel system, and they purged the system, they dropped the tank, and they found, I think it was 6 quarts of water in the system. So once Lieutenant Theobald, he's the superintendent of equipment, purged the system, he got the truck running again, but we're unable to fill the water tank to a certain level because of, it has a hole in it. So it leaks into the fuel system. So we went out and got requisitions in terms of the suspension work needed for all the apparatus in the city. Truck 121, truck 122, engine 112, and we got it approved through the Fiscal Commission and the Finance Director, Jack Johnson. So we got an estimate into him, and they approved it. So we're getting the trucks in to get serviced, one at a time, because their bays are only so big, and they also service Cleveland Fire as well. So right now, truck 121 is back and in service, and engine 111 is currently working. However, we need to get that into Ohio CAT, because they have ordered a tank for us to have that tank replaced, so we won't have a fuel system failure that we had in the past.
So we're paying Ohio CAT.
Pardon?
We got to pay Ohio CAT.
Well, they extended our credit. And tomorrow, representatives from Ohio CAT are having a meeting with myself and the finance director to try to see if we can work out something in terms of satisfying their desire to be paid. But they extended our credit because they saw the story and they really wanted to get 111 back in service. Well, in order to get 111 back in service, we have to get engine 112 back from Cleveland Springs. And we found, and of course the finance director doesn't know this yet, but they found that the rear springs instead of the front springs are also damaged, and we have to replace it as well. So I have to talk to him about a requisition and quote in order to get that engine back so we can send 111 out. 111 cannot continue to be, to run in the condition that it's in now, because we'll end up destroying the whole engine in itself. In terms of Squad 141, it's working properly and is in service. Squad 142, again, I said it's over at Marshall Ford, and it's not completed yet, but they're working on it. Command Car 152 we're supposed to be receiving that from Marshall Ford, and also as we currently talking right now, the city of Mentor City Council are voting to donate an engine and an ambulance to the city of East Cleveland. Now, the word donation is kind of a play on words, but how they're writing it up is to satisfy their citizens. So there's, it's transparent that they're writing it up that we're buying these 2 vehicles from them for $5,000. However, they put a provision in their legislation that states that as long as we're in fiscal emergency, they're not requiring us to pay them anything for those 2 vehicles. So in essence, it's a donation. Right. And then once we are out of fiscal emergency, then we can settle on a payment plan or something as far as paying it off. Our new squad will be here in August. Our new ambulance will be here in August. And hopefully with the AFG grant, with the grant writer this year, we'll be putting in for a new ladder truck. hopefully we'll get that grant and that award for 2016.
Thank you. Question?
Okay, you mentioned that Mentor's going to donate an engine. What was the other thing you said?
An ambulance.
An engine and an ambulance? What is the status? How is this part-time thing working out?
It's coming. It's coming slow, but it's coming.
What's in your pool?
We're probably at 15 now. 15.
Okay.
So as we bring them on and they sign themselves for shifts, a lot of them have already taken shifts from other cities already. So we just got, and you got to understand that there's a process in getting these part-timers approved. Okay. And some of those things are going through the fiscal commission in order to have them approved for duty and getting a paycheck. So we can't, until they get approved by the fiscal commission, then we can't put them on the schedule because they'll be working almost pro bono.
So how do you expedite that since they only meet once a month?
The only way we can expedite that is that the finance director put it in, what is the batch, finance director? You have to put it in a batch and then they have to approve it. Am I correct?
Yeah, they have to approve every payroll.
Right.
Okay, but for part-time people, the fiscal commission meets once a month, and you're here like twice a week, right? So my question to him is, how do we expedite so he gets his numbers that he needs, and they get paid? How you speed up the process?
The fiscal supervisors we're in contact with on a continual basis.
Okay.
What was that sort of you're trying to get to?
We're trying to get 24.
24, so we have 15 now, right?
Right. Well, 14. I think
14.
15 one is just approved the other day. So we haven't scheduled anything yet.
I think, didn't we, some time ago, you quoted a number that you needed.
Right.
And it was my understanding that Director Johnson was supposed to look at the part-timers, correct me if I'm wrong, Director Johnson, look at those numbers and see if they fit into the resource, under the appropriations and stayed within that budget.
The fiscal supervisors did approve the fire chief's creation of a pool of
Yes.
part-timers.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
So once they approved that, and it was within the purview of the budget, so it's just a matter of, and correct me again if I'm wrong, it's just a matter of taking X amount and putting them, and identifying those and that number and putting them in that pool.
Correct.
Right? Am I correct?
Yes.
So it's not a lag in the process. It's just the process has to go in a certain order or a certain number. Am I correct? Okay. So you're going along progressively. That's what I'm saying. Now, I have one more question, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. The civil service test, is that both for the police and the fire?
Well,
Wait a minute, I don't mean to clarify that, because we did approve the test to be given. And is that scheduled, and is that for both safety forces, the fire and the police?
well, I'm unaware of that.
Okay.
I just know I know police wanted to put on a test. I know we're going to probably have to put on a test because we're losing membership. And with the collective bargaining agreement as it is, with 10-man minimum, and 8 full-timers and 2 part-timers, if we have those part-timers working every day, 2 part-timers, but we only have 7 full-timers, we're still going to pay a full-timer overtime.
Well, the council, and again, Director Johnson, correct me if I'm wrong, approved for the test to be taken, and there was a cost to that, and was that paid for?
Was it paid for? I don't think we've done it yet.
Okay.
There's,
But it was approved, and we were waiting for, and we gave the approval for it to be done. But we haven't done it yet.
not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any tests being given. I thought there were a couple members of the Civil Service Commission, one that was ill.
That's Mr. Alfonso Bussey's my neighbor.
I'm not real sure if they've replaced those members of the Civil Service Commission,
Okay.
but I'm not aware of anything else that would be holding up the test.
Okay.
Councilman Baker.
Thank you. Chief, I had a few concerns. I know you're happy to hear about the EMS increase that's pending. Hopefully we can see additional revenue from that. With that in mind, when you guys respond to a scene, who determines, does the paramedic determine the ALS or the BLS?
It's the paramedic.
Paramedic
Right.
determines?
I mean, that could be.
Because I think we have a paramedic on each squad run, period, right?
And
So
that
we
could
all
be
can
determined.
bill either ALS.
Right, and that could be determined by even an EMT.
Right.
So some functions are above their standard, and also their standard of training. So yeah, it can be determined by either or. Because you can also have a ALS engine arrive, and that medic will show medic will show up and leave with that squad, and that's an ALS run. So if it's a BLS squad, we can get an ALS. We can turn it to an ALS run.
Okay, and it's a rhetorical question for me, but I know that was kind of some query. They wanted to understand that more in depth. But I didn't want to limit it to a squad arriving on a scene, because a truck company or engine company, of course, can have a paramedic on it as well and provide first responder care on an advanced life support basis. So I appreciate that. The apparatus is alongside the Station 2. Is it a possibility that those can be moved? Because, visibly it doesn't paint a good picture for us as we're determining what our status is as far as operation of equipment. And lastly, they've been there too long.
Right. Well,
And one doesn't have a tire on it now. I don't mind it being, used for parts or whatever. I just think that that's a bad.
right. Well,
place
we would
for it.
have to have it towed.
And it's on wood now.
Right.
The one in the squad is on wood, and that's not a standardized, what I would say, safety.
I understand that.
I would move it.
Yeah, we would have to have it towed. It's more than a notion, because those two apparatus are totally out of service.
I know they're totally out. And like I said, I don't mind you taking parts off of it.
Right.
That's
what we have to do.
That's what we do.
We have to take
But
parts off.
is there another location for those things to sit?
Outside of the parking lot that we currently have, no.
Let's discuss maybe some options.
Okay, we may have to explore some options, but I think that's a bad location
Right.
for it, and definitely the way it's propped up, I don't think that is presents a standard safety probability.
Right.
Image. And then the mutual aid update. Can you give me some update on that? I know we had lost some people, and then I think we got some people back now that we have our department working towards being fully equipped.
Right. Well, as far as the mutual aid agreements between South Euclid and East Cleveland, as far as ambulance are concerned, is still canceled. The mayor of that city has some concerns about our apparatus and conditions, and that they felt like they were coming down here too much, and they felt like they were operating beyond the scope of the agreement. If anyone wants to know about the agreement is for the occasional overwhelming of your 911 system, be it fire or be it EMS. And that's a key word, being occasion. And it happens. But for us, we were using them primarily as a second squad. And they helped us as long as they could for about 5 months, about 4 months. And then the mayor gave the order to cancel the agreement on the medical side, but the EMS side, the fire side is still in place.
Okay,
But the medical is what's pertinent. That's what we run. The majority of our runs on is on medical.
Why?
So
I'm sorry.
So-
Ask why. I mean, I'm just asking you to ask why.
me, oh, okay, yeah, I was gonna ask why, but
Why-
in
why
addition
what?
to that, who is our backup now? Is it Donald Martins?
No.
All right, East Cleveland's call volume, and maybe I can shed some light to it. East Cleveland's call volume relative to EMS is very, very high, and so we're getting calls for anything. Am I right or wrong, Chief? We're getting calls for anything, and so one squad goes out there at UH. We got 2 more calls coming in. That's South Euclid, and so they're down here more than they are in their own city. Again, their tax base is not East Cleveland. It's only as a courtesy in the fire service, EMS service that they come.
Now, mind you, but anytime they do respond, that EMS call doesn't come back to East Cleveland. It goes to South Euclid.
Monetarily, the bill.
So we lost, a lot of revenue since August of last year to the time we were out without a squad. That we could have, that building could have went right to East Cleveland.
And it's the wear and tear on their guys. So I do understand why the mayor may have made that call there.
Right. There were different reasons. Like I said, in this case, this is the mayor. The firefighters themselves didn't mind. The chief himself, he did not mind. He was very hurt. He had to tell me that they had to cancel that. He knew we needed help. But nonetheless, the mayor made a decision for their city, and we had to live with that. And in terms of University Heights, they also had canceled. But in January 6th of this year, they reinstated the agreement, so we have them back on our agreement. We also have something, whereas with the area chiefs, we all sat down at the chiefs meeting and figured out something to take the burden off of one municipality. And what we were doing, we're rotating cities for all those type of calls, so it take the burden off. So for instance, if we had a squad tied up and we had another call come in and we call Euclid, they'll come and respond in our city, and then they'll transport. And then if we had another call, it'll go to Beechwood or go to University Heights. They'll come in. Third call, if we had another call such as that, the rotation will go to another city. So that city will probably hope to see only one call, probably those 2 or 3 days that they wouldn't be in the city often. These municipalities, however, they've had meetings. I've gotten emails as recently as today from the chief of Cleveland that they want to sit down and talk about our mutual aid package. We talked about it last Friday, but they also want to pull these other municipalities in, and I'm not quite sure, what the big, I don't know. So we hopefully it's something to help. Or I hope it ain't one of those meetings where it say, hey, medically we just can't respond, and that would be a big blow. And that would put more pressure on us to make sure these apparatus are always running.
Well, you just wanted to thank you for being creative with that. Definitely on South Euclid's end, we appreciate their service to the residents of the city. So the time they were responding, I didn't hear anything as it relates to complaints or, being rude as they are transporting. So we do appreciate their service. So thank you for all that you do over there. And being creative as an administrator really doesn't go unnoticed.
All right, thank you, Chief.
I got one more question.
Overtime is down.
Have they talked about service sharing? Because it seems to me that if all of you all are sitting there, this could be the beginning of the service sharing.
Okay, so,
The regionalism on a smaller scale.
right.
But when they moved here in Rural Hospital before, and all everyone came together, they at one time was talking that, and I think if you want to just pull that piece in, it would be beneficial to all of you, and it wouldn't have to go agreement on one.
Well, okay. Well, as far as resource sharing,
Yeah.
Understand that a lot of those things are subjected to the demographics of your run value.
Okay.
So they would be very busy and involved in East Cleveland, so they recognize that.
Okay.
That takes either administrators and mayors to think outside the box and understand the overall need, or B, they exclude you out because you just simply,
Don't have
you
it.
don't, they can't meet the need for that volume, and they would be, you know, just expelling resources into a city that doesn't contribute to their tax base. So, so it's kind of touch and go. Hopefully, that we can get those minds together, and hopefully they can open up and say, okay, well, we can do this, and we don't have a problem with the run volumes that we would, you know, experience into the city of Cleveland.
All right.
Okay, Chief, one more, we close it out, and that's King.
Thank you, Chairman. I like where you're going with the different cities and having them come in. I think probably at some point revisit South Euclid. Maybe if you went to them and they knew you had all these other cities, and that they wouldn't get every other call, they'd get every fourth, fifth, sixth call. They may can go for that. My concern, or my question, and I know this is a question of the council as a whole, because it took us a while to get the language down to pass the pool of part-timers. Now, since we passed it, have you or have the fire department had any overtime issues? Because I know you're having overtime issues the last time you were in front of us.
Yeah, we've had overtime issues, more or less for unscheduled overtime. So that's an individual calling off less than 24 hours in a scheduled shift. And according to the CBA, we have to replace them with a full-time firefighter. But the scheduled overtime,